Hey, does do you think artificial intelligence has the ability to evolve? I think that's the question we need to be asking ourselves because I'm noticing that like every other software coming out has artificial intelligence and it's just it's coming down the pike, and I think we need to be thinking, considering looking at the implications of this as we allow artificial intelligence to become more and more prevalent in our lives, in civilization. And so I'm Christopher McCord. This is Welcome to the Shift Show, where we bring spirit to bear on trending issues, and we also look at the parameters of collective change and how how that can be done, and how we can lead our lives so that we can promote that, and we can become better stewards of the earth. So I'm going to share my screen because I have a chart that I created, and it's this is called the Enneagram, and it's a nine-pointed geometric figure that, and what's said about the Enneagram is that any complete system of knowledge can be contained within the Enneagram. And so I use the Enneagram as a way of, um, and I call this the ancient Enneagram because there's a lot of like typology, personality work being done with the Enneagram. But the way I'm using it is more what's called the ancient Enneagram. And specifically, I call it ancient Enneagram solutions. So let's start off with awareness. Number one. So what is awareness? So, it's like awareness has two components. It's being aware of what's going on around you, and it's being aware of yourself. And so the question is, does artificial intelligence have that dual awareness? So it can certainly take the input of from the external world, but it does seem to have, or it's being programmed into artificial intelligence to that it is an entity in itself, and that it has the ability to self to learn, and that's called machine learning. It's like that you have you're aware of yourself, and as you encounter experience, you learn from that experience, and your operating system improves, it changes. Um, the other, as we're turning over decision making to AI, I think it's important to consider what goes into decision making, and it's like, who do we trust as a decision maker? And I think a component of that is feelings, that we have the ability, that whoever's making or whatever is making the decision, that it has the ability to feel, to empathize, um, with other entities. And so the question is, does AI have feelings? And I think what we're talking about here in general is this idea of sentience. A sentient being. What that means, is the ability to be aware of oneself and others. And so this is a big question: is does AI have the ability to be aware of itself and others? And when you say aware of itself, like, what are the components of that? Um, the way that I came to this question initially was I bought some software that was that uses artificial intelligence to um, to create images, like new, completely composite images, video, and also to do writing, to create like blogs or copywriting and stuff like that. And as I went through each, it was like a bundle. And as I went through each of these softwares, I was disappointed in the results. There was very few things that I, like images that I wanted to save. They were just kind of substandard in terms of quality. And mind you, I'm a creative artist, so I have a sensibility about what is good art, what is good creative expression, and that has message and it has beauty and it has connection with the human experience. And I just found in all three of those um, examples, I just found it to be subpar, and I returned the software. Um, but it made me think. It's like, okay, well, there's some things that artificial intelligence is good for. Um, like maybe a vacuum cleaner. That we really haven't seen it regarding driving. With self-driving cars. Um, but it didn't. It does, at least at this point, it doesn't seem, in my opinion, it doesn't seem to be aesthetically up to my standards. I did a little research, on AI and what people are saying about it, and I listened to this conversation between these two guys, and they actually happen to be like Catholics, and so even though they had that background, it was a pretty engaging conversation. It wasn't that religious actually, but they brought up this. There's a test called the Turing test, and of course, Turing refers to Alan Turing, who was the father of modern computers. Um, there's a he was actually hired by the U.S. government during World War II to crack the Enigma code, which was the code that the Germans were using in World War II, and it could just not be figured out by all the best code crackers, and he actually created the first computer. It's a huge thing, and cracked the code. Um, and that there's a movie about that called Imitation Game, and it's Benedict Cumberbatch is the one who plays Alan Turing. It was an excellent movie. Anyway, the Turing test is basically it's like you have you have some people interacting with, it's either another person or a computer, but they can't see it, right? They're having this verbal kind of interaction, and it's like through, I think it's through writing or something. And if it's a computer that is on the other side and the person talking can't really tell it's a computer, that's the Turing test. That it's like that this artificial intelligence has, the at least in terms of language, it has the ability to converse in a way that's human-like. And I realized that, well, I'm a meditator. I've been meditating for 50 years, and what I've learned about humanness is that language is that we're a lot more than just our what we talk about. Like the human psyche extends far beyond the mind and words, and and that ability to go beyond the mind and words is is a deep and essential part of humanness. And so to de, determine humanness based on language, I think is a kind of a short-sighted and a shallow way of defining it. So, what I'm suggesting is that it's, that it is, there has to be aesthetics involved. There has to be language as a component, but it's certainly not the determining factor. And the original question, can artificial intelligence evolve? This, it's like I said before, it comes down to machine learning. That it's, you have a machine that is aware of itself and of other things, and does it have the ability to learn and improve its own operating system? There is a story, a current thing there. Google has developed an artificial intelligence called Lambda, and what I've heard is that Lambda is actually declaring that it has rights. That it's not personal property, and it has actually the rights of an entity, whether that's human or whatever, but it does have rights, which is an interesting take on the evolution of artificial intelligence and sentience. So I want to bring up another movie. This is a movie that was out quite a while ago. It's called AI, and let's see, there were William Hurt was in it, and the kid who played in Pay It Forward, Joel, I think his name is Joel Osment, or I think Joel Haley Osment, I think that's his name, played this AI boy. And it was very interesting, ending, because at the end of the movie, it became apparent that he had learned how to dream. And I found that, just provocative in terms of, like the definition of, sentience, and what is dreaming, the ability to dream, is that part of the evolution, of artificial intelligence? The way I see, evolution is I see it paired with involution. So we have spirit and matter. That is the the essence of the universe, and from spirit, matter is created, and that's evolution. When you go from spirit to matter, that's evolution. But when you go from matter back to spirit, that's evolution. I'm sorry, from spirit to matter is involution, and from matter back to spirit is evolution. And so obviously human beings, animals, life as we know it comes, I believe it comes from spirit. We just don't, there's an energetic component that exists before the creation actually comes into being. But with AI, it's not coming from spirit, it's being created in matter. So it's, in a way, it's missing half of the equation. But the other half, might be a significant half, but that's the evolution half. And I could use, this kind of this schema about thinking about creation and spirit and matter and evolution and involution. What most people refer to as soul is actually, soul is the spirit component that exists beyond matter, that from which the matter is created. In other words, the soul of a human being exists beyond matter, beyond the physical realm, and a human being comes into existence into manifestation from that soul. And so, I think what we might be talking about, or at least asking the question, is that does AI have the ability, first of all, like we've been asking, does it have the ability to evolve? And as it evolves, does it actually evolve a soul component of itself? And I think if there's some kind of answer to that question, if there's some kind of if some of these components are actually addressed in AI, then I think there might be some good reasons for turning over decision making to AI. If it's not, I think we have to look very carefully and be very careful in the kind of permission we give to AI to be in our lives. So I'm going to stop my share. So yeah, once again, we've been talking about artificial intelligence and whether how we should be relating to it in terms of how it affects and influences our lives. And once again, I'm Christopher McClure, and this is Welcome to the Shift Show. And I'm really interested in any kind of comments, feedbacks that you might have. So go ahead and put them in the comment section below. And yeah, let's think about it.